Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review of Tower of God Chapter 2, 329, Episode 249. Yep, that's where we are, my review of that. Okay, so this one, I feel like it's not going to be one of those that we look months in the future and we're like, oh, that was a really good chapter, we really remember this one in specific, but I think it was a very necessary chapter because, say, we didn't see Mazano show up, but we set up for that. We didn't see the Helljo fight, but we set up for that. We didn't see them rescue Desab, but we set up for that. It's like, while none of those big events actually happened here, we couldn't have them happen without we couldn't have them happen in a good way without having the setup, so we needed everything that happened here. So yeah, let's talk about it part by part. First off, Helljo's power flares up. Garam and Bomb put this cloth on Yuri to try to stabilize her, because she's still a bit unstable. She's not totally out of the trance. Well, I mean, she kinda is, but there's a chance of relapse. Yuri's "my hangover" responses throughout the entire chapter were great, though. They were funny the whole time. Hockney warns of the incoming attack from Helljo because, of course, he can see the future. So Helljo, Weak Beam. Helljo Weak Beam is damn OP. He just blows just a friggin' chunk of the land away with the Weak Beam. Damn OP. We cut to Yurik, and Yurik admits that he doesn't really know if Guardians can actually have children, so maybe it's just the Guardian trying to be reborn itself. He doesn't really know, but he says he found it the last time he was at the Floor of Death, and he said he had to give it to somebody who he thought could use its powers properly. So he gave it to Joe, and he still doesn't know how Joe went from a good person to an evil dictator. So he says he wants to meet him again so he can ask him what happened, what changed. And I really like this. It just makes me so interested in the story between the two of them, and I really hope nobody else takes that story away from Yurik, because Yurik and Helljo really have a good story going that I want to see settle itself between the two of them. Yeah, then we see Kun's group, and Kun brings up his doubts that he's been having about this whole situation, how there are holes in Ryun's story about Desa and her wanting to get revenge on Helljo, because I mean, like, he was like, you know, there are holes in this story. If we wanted to save Desa to take down Helljo, Desa lost to Helljo anyway. Well, why is he going to be able to beat him this time if he lost last time? Or, it was like, if you want revenge against Helljo, why are you so uninterested in Helljo? And even from the very beginning, he's like, you want to do this to get revenge, but you don't seem like the kind of person that would really care about revenge. You would only want what's best for Bomb. So why are you prioritizing revenge right now? So all of them were actually holes in her story. She does say that she admits she hates Helljo and kind of wants revenge against him for killing the one Red Witch, but Bomb is a higher priority to her, and that's why she's doing this for him. She wants to save Desa, or go to Desa at least, because he has a soul-stirring ladle, which can be traded to Madarako, who seemingly has another of the Thorn Fragments. So Madarako back in the story, interesting, and I was expecting to get this a bit later on, but we know it's not going to go as simply as them trading something for it. Nothing ever goes that simply. But apparently the soul-stirring ladle's ability is that it can scoop out souls and bind them to things, which is how they scooped out everybody's soul and bound it to the spirit room to make people immortal to stay at the Floor of Death and everything. So that's actually a very useful item, and I feel like it'll probably come into play somehow. Not sure how it'll come into play, but I think it will. Not just it being an object they want to trade, but actually the use of it scooping out souls I think is going to be important. So apparently I is Lali Ryun's name, and I said that Desa has the ladle, and she and her mentor, which is the one that was killed, we knew that was her mentor, they broke in here before and confirmed that, and that's when Helljo killed the mentor. So yeah, all of that now makes sense and is explained. Yuri was just here as bait to distract Joe, and she didn't actually think Bomb could find the Thorn Fragment here because Helljo is an absolute beast, and it's kind of a hard place to get anything done, the Floor of Death, so she didn't actually think he could do that, so she just wanted to steal that so he could at least get the Thorn Fragment from Madarako. Rachel and Dali, we find out, were listening in the whole time, and Dali just attacks them. And we have to remember that Dali's a high ranker, or at least he says he was a high ranker. Maybe some other people surpassed him or something, or they took him out of the rankings for whatever reason. But the man's a high ranker, so I'm not sure how Kuhn's team can really deal with him. Mom's group then ran away, we see, and of course Heljo's reaction to that was funny. But Garam is upset at Deja for putting them in danger and being senile and greedy. Garam then tells Bomb and Yuri to run while she stays and fights, but Bomb's like, nah, I gotta pass this test, I'm on a test, and my friends are here now, so I gotta help them too. Haku then sees a special future, Mata says, and they need to go to a certain place for his special future that he saw, for somebody to come and help them. So I like this part where all the characters get acquainted and it's explained, yo, Haku can see the future, and they're like, ah, and they're like, oh, and this is Garam, and Evan's like, ah. So I think that them all getting acquainted, that was a pretty good scene. And the panel when they said, okay, we'll do your plan, or we'll listen to your plan, and we had just the happy panel of Mata and Haku. That was a really funny panel. So then, very end, Joe rushes ahead of Sanchez and Charlotte, and is confronted by Bomb's group. Then Yurik is incoming, seemingly, but they could be swerving us here. This could be a swerve. Yurik could be on his way, but the person coming out of the pipe right now at this moment, like, what if it was like Karaka or White that has taken the souls or something? Like, I'm just saying, maybe even Rack, but Rack really would... I want to save Rack's return for something bigger, something where... Because, like, if he returned now, what's he going to do against Heljo? I like the character, but it's Heljo. He's in a different power level right now. So, yeah, I would rather Rack stay away for now, maybe even stay away for a couple of arcs, and then make his return bigger because of that. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that at least. But they could swerve us and have it be Karaka or somebody, and instead of Yurik, which could be troublesome, perhaps. But either way. Then blog info, they say that, Siu said that a team of people this strong's not going to be together for a while after this arc, which makes sense because we're probably not going to have Yurik with us, we're not going to have Garam with us, but also... I kind of... And see, here's what I was saying from the beginning. From the beginning, I was saying I don't really mind if Evan and Yuri travel with the main group, but I would rather they didn't. I think it works for the Floor of Death because we need somebody that strong to help keep them alive in the Floor of Death, where people are just at a higher level than them. But I'd like to see another arc where it's been great seeing them where they don't have a ranker or high ranker to fall back on to save them if something goes wrong. I'd like to see them in the future not have Yuri or Evan to fall back on, and I think it's totally possible that that could happen if Evan tells Yuri, you know, we need to hold back, we need to let them climb the tower with their own strength and find their own path and everything. We don't need to stand in their way, or we don't need to coddle them, they need to do this on their own. And Yuri's like, okay, you're right, Evan. We're going to let them do this on their own, but if anything goes bad, we're rushing in. We're coming back eventually. So, yeah, I think that'd be a good way for them to split up after the Floor of Death. Just leave on, like, not leave because they get separated, but leave on, like, their own terms, where they're like, okay, we need to separate for now, but we'll come back, we'll see each other eventually. I think that'll be a good way to have that end. Also, Siu said that Heljo is strong even compared to high rankers, so there we get confirmation that Heljo's strength is upper high ranker level, maybe. He's damn strong. Then lastly, he said that the Kun and Ryun part connects to the next part or arc of the story. That seems like we're getting into it a little bit too quickly. I'd like us to take a little bit of a, not really a break, but I'd like us to do some other things before getting back into the Thorn Fragment stuff, because this whole arc's been about the Thorn Fragment. I'd like to see us do an arc that's maybe about something else and then get back to that. But that's always possible and still have the story be tied into that. Because let's say we have to go and give this Thorn Fragment or get the Thorn Fragment from Madarako, but on the way to do that we have another few arcs, like smaller arcs, that build up to that. Because you could say, really, all the arcs of the Hell Train have been building up to this one, and they were all great arcs on their own. Dollar Show, Revolution Road, Wooden Horse, what was Name Hunt Station. They were all really great arcs on their own, and they were all built up for this. So we could have some really great arcs on their own that are built up for the Madarako thing, and it all fits together, and we have some things that aren't just completely focusing on one thing. So, yeah, just interesting to note that. So, chapter as a whole, I did love it. I thought Joe was great. He's really becoming a really good villain. Tower of God's been pretty great with their villain character work. And my favorite part probably was the Kun and Ryun explanation, because I really liked the way Kun went over how there were holes in the story, and it's like, that's actually developed quite well. See, you wrote that quite well. And just getting it explained to us as viewers, once again, like I said, this thing, it's not a chapter that we're going to remember as a chapter where a ton of great stuff happened, but it set us up for all that. It was really, really necessary. And I think as a chapter that was a transitional chapter, it was friggin' great. I think I'd give it like a 9 out of 10, 9 weak beams out of 10 kind of great. The weak beam, just so powerful. But yeah, that's it. So I hope you did like the video. And if you did like the video, comment down there. Tell me what you thought of this week's chapter, what you thought of my thoughts on it. Subscribe, as always, for more Tower of God if you're not already, and much, much more. Follow on Twitter if you want. I'll try to keep you updated there and stuff at the channel. That is it. So thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.